Hello there, citizens of the internet. My name is SkemoKyle, and I'm bringing you my top 10 list of video games that I probably should like, that a lot of people tell me I should like, but I just don't. So without wasting any more time, or any more of your time, we're going to throw ourselves straight into this and see how long it takes for you to start hating me. Number 10. Left 4 Dead 2 is a fun game for you and your friends to enjoy, if you love hating your friends, that is. It never really grabbed me like it grabbed all of my other friends. I find the game just doesn't feel fun to me whatsoever. It's irritatingly slow, and there's always that one goddamn arsehole that always runs off ahead, leaving the rest of the team to fight off hordes of enemies and then complains that nobody fucking helped them. Enemies are either fucking tanks or just wastes of space until they gang up on you and fuck you over royally. Aiming is really fucking annoying, and 8-player multiplayer just irritates the living crap out of me, and I just do not like this game whatsoever. Number 9. Whilst I'm on the Valve hate bandwagon, I seriously had to juggle whether it was TF2 or Counter-Strike that I put on this list, but looking at it I would definitely prefer Counter-Strike. TF2 seems to be one of those games that a million people and their mothers love to pieces, but I find it way too annoying. Back to the controls I dislike from Left 4 Dead 2, we also have irritating visuals, annoying voice acting, and goddamn bloody hats. Jesus Christ, I hate the hats. I just don't understand how people can go absolutely batshit crazy over virtual items. And on top of that, we get strange spin-off content, i.e. source filmmaker stuff that clogs up YouTube too. I'm seriously not trying to be an asshole, I just don't understand the hype. Number 8. Steering away from Valve and FPS games, we're heading over to Nintendo Land now. Animal Crossing is a game franchise that I hated for ages, but really wanted to give a solid go. I had played the original game on the old Nintendo DS. At the time I didn't own a Nintendo GameCube, so I had to deal with what I was given. And I also remember getting really angry at the mole named Rossetti. Upon revisiting Animal Crossing on the 3DS in New Leaf, I discovered that this really was not the game for me. I'm all good for sandbox games usually, but to the point where I can pretty much do whatever I want all the time. When you're forced to do side missions just to keep you from boredom, that's when you know there's something wrong. I really enjoyed playing New Leaf for a couple of weeks. It all seemed fun at first, he says as he got addicted to what seemed like an eternity of catching bugs. If anyone had a Scronco, Lisa enjoyed the game a lot more than I did. I guess it just sort of sticks with some people. I get that this game is a massive time killer, but it's just so hard to get into when you're waiting around forever for certain events to happen just because you can't time skip. If you do find yourself time skipping, you find problems in your town, such as villagers leaving, the town becomes an absolute mess, and people tend to question where you've been and start to dislike you. Overall, after playing the game, I probably wouldn't play it again, hence why it's here on my list. Number 7. For number 7, I really need to shield myself from my brother and Neroson, as they both hate me greatly for disliking this game. The Legend of Zelda is a series I never really wanted to put on this list, as I am a massive fan of the Zelda series. But I guess you can't like all of them. The Minish Cap is a game I feel is a lot less fun than the other games in the franchise, and I find it's just a lot more frustrating to play. As someone who loved the top-down Zelda games, I really thought I'd enjoy this game when it first came out. My main grumble with the game is that I find the story is just too boring, and I don't get grasped by this game like I did the others in the franchise. The dungeon items are just saddening and not as awesome to get a hold of. I didn't like the addition of kinstones, and the fucking hat drove me up the goddamn wall. You could argue that the other Zelda games had some pretty crummy dungeon weapons, but fuck it, this is my list and you can't tell me how to feel, you're not my real mum. Number 6. At number 6 is a game that Liam will beat the crap out of me if he saw me put on this list. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald are all part of Generation 3 of the Pokemon games franchise. I love nearly all of the other generations, but I just could not get on with Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald. As a kid I got a copy of Pokemon Ruby, my close friend at the time got a copy of Sapphire, and we played it purely because we were massive fans of the previous 2 generations of games. But I couldn't love this game like I did the others. I guess the change from 8-bit to 16-bit was just far too much for my puny 8-year-old mind to comprehend. I didn't like the change of music, I didn't like the game's pace, and it didn't just sit right with me. Playing now with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, my perspective on the game has changed drastically, but as much as it makes me sound like a massive nostalgia douche, I just prefer the first 2 generations. But that's a video for another time. There's not much more I can say on Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald, so let's just get on with the next one in my list. Number 5. It's no secret that I am a massive fan of the original Crash Bandicoot games on the PS1, and heck, even some of the later titles aren't that bad. But one game did not please my 6-year-old wait a minute. Crash Bash came out in the year 2000 when I was fucking 6? When did I get so freakishly old? Anyway, when I was younger, the Crash Bandicoot platformer games were the best. Crash Bash, however, took all that awesome stuff about platforming and Crash Bandicoot that I knew and loved and said, hey, you know what? The kids love Crash Bandicoot, and hell, Naughty Dog did a great job with the racing game, so let's think seriously about what we're gonna do here. We need to make a mark that will make people coming back to the franchise. I know, let's just fuck it with a rake. Turning Crash Bandicoot into a repetitive party game was a terrible idea in my opinion. Crash Bandicoot was a game about platforming, having fun by yourself, and it was a collectathon. but it was fun. Naughty Dog was done with the series but made one last game to finish off the series by making one multiplayer racing game, as that was a big thing back then, as Mario Kart did it, and to a certain extent Naughty Dog did a great job trying to compete. But when Eurocom took the game over and tried to compete with Mario Party, it was just a flop and it didn't work. So sorry Crash Bash, but you just suck. Number 4. Right, before we get into this one, please don't hate on me too much at this point. Halo seems to be a great game if you grew up with an Xbox. In my household, we grew up with the Sony PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, so we never had an Xbox, meaning I didn't get to experience Halo when it was in its prime. The first Halo game I ever played was a little bit of Halo Reach on the Xbox 360. And I'm not gonna lie, I got the game and played it due to the fact that all my friends at the time were playing it, and I didn't want to be left out. Halo to me seems like it would feel a lot better on the PC. I find that most FPS games, in my opinion, are damn near impossible to play with a controller. You don't get the speed and accuracy you would with a mouse and keyboard, and overall I'm not a massive fan of shooters, in case you hadn't guessed by the amount on this list by now. However, if you want a good shooter, check out Unreal Tournament. This is an amazing series of games. But back to Halo. My experience with Halo wasn't horrible, it just didn't speak out to me as I didn't grow up with it. It didn't keep me wanting to play, so that's why it's here on the list of shame. Number 3. Sitting in at the number 3 spot is none other than Kingdom Hearts. If any of you out there know me at all, I love a game with a great story and RPG aspects, but for whatever reason Kingdom Hearts just didn't stick with me. I remember seeing the adverts for when it was announced, and because I was a teenage boy at the time, my brain basically said, holy fuck, that looks really dumb. Fucking Disney characters pretending to be badass? That's just stupid. Because of when my brain saw this, I never went out of my way to go get it and play it. It was only until I hit college that I'd even considered it. According to a lot of my friends at the time, the game was a really good game, you just had to give it a go. So I borrowed the game for a little while, tried to get into it, and nothing. I had no idea what was going on, I just wasn't having a good time. So I did what everyone else would and just said, fuck it, and gave up. So I'm sorry Kingdom Hearts, you're just not for me. Number 2. Sitting in at number 2, we've got Bioshock 2. This game is late entry to the list. I loved Bioshock 1 and Bioshock Infinite, but Bioshock 2, to me at least, was just plain meh. I mean...
Whoa, objection! Kyle, you couldn't be more wrong. Bioshock 2 does not deserve to be on this list, or any list like this for that matter. Bioshock 2 pretty much remained the way it was from the first game, of course, with a few changes here and there, but they kept everything great from the first game, and upgraded it. When you first played Bioshock 1, you saw Big Daddy and just thought, holy shit, the fuck is that thing? You were scared at first, but then throughout the game, you got used to them. You liked the Big Daddies, and you imagined what it was like to be one of them. Boom. Bioshock 2.
Well, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, especially when it comes to Bioshockles. But my issue is where the Big Daddies were terrifying, and to play as one just takes the fear away from the game. You feel invincible, even though you're not, thus taking the scary parts away. When playing as Jack in Nitrous End Bioshock 1, you start off defenseless. You have nothing to defend yourself with. In Biosphere 2, everything is too easy, and the story does not seem as well driven as the first game. Over to you, Crone!
Thank you, Carol. Okay, I understand you have an opinion, but it's wrong. Completely wrong. You may feel invincible at first, but then you come up against the big sisters. Then you feel scared again. Every now and again, you hear a little sound implying a big sister is on her way. When you hear it, you realize how fucked you are. You check everything. Your ammo, fuel, and surroundings. You need to make sure you're good enough to fight her. You don't want to lollygag around. You want to either get away from her or fight her. And trust me, if you fight her, you're fucked. Plus, taking care of a little sister is scary itself. She's yours. You don't want to lose her. Save the baby, Kyle. Save the baby.
If I wanted a childcare simulator, I would have had a fucking child by now. But no, seriously, the whole game becomes a goddamn protect the package mission. We all hate those sort of missions because NPCs are dumb as fucking shit. I get that big sisters are a thing too, but I don't know, big daddies are more terrifying in my opinion. And that's another thing. You mentioned fuel? Not only have you got ammo worries, but now you have to worry about fuel for your drill bit too. So if you run out of ammo and you got no fuel left, you're fucked. That doesn't sound like fun. Your move, Crone.
Yeah, I get that. I hate NPCs in most games, but not this game. If the little sisters get hurt, or even killed, I feel responsible. It's my fault, not the game's. I should be looking after her the whole time instead of looking around for goddamn cigarettes. Seriously, what was the point of them? Did they help? Fucking no. Ran out of fuel? Guess what's back? The fear factor. 99% of the time, it's your fault you ran out of ammo and fuel. so you have no one to blame but yourself. But to be fair, no one ever did run out of oil. If you did, you just don't know how to conserve, and you don't really deserve to play the game. And that is why I think Bioshock 2 does not deserve to be on your list. Checkmate, Carol.
Well, overall, in my opinion, I just found that I just liked the whole mothering the child thing, and I get that the game did a good job of making sure that you knew it was your fault for running out of materials, but I just can't get on with it. I guess the game went in a direction that I felt went far too differently from the original game, thus leading me to not like it. And besides, it doesn't matter if you don't think that Bioshock 2 doesn't deserve to be on my list, because it's my list, so there! Moving on to... Number 1. Now, Final Fantasy fanboys, please don't rage too much here. Before we get into this, let me tell you a tale from when I was a wee lad. It was a summer's afternoon. Me and my mother had made our way down to the local game shop to have a look around for some new games for me to play on our Sony PlayStation 1. Upon entering the store, we browsed and I come across 2 games. The first being Pac-Man World, and the second being a game called Grandia. Why is this important? Because Grandia changed the way I look at RPGs for the rest of my life. Turn-based battle, work at your own pace, secrets, gripping characters, simple but captivating story, voice acting, that was just...
Hey, you! This'll teach you, punk! Oh! Oh, Justin! Not you again!
Let's just forget the voice acting. The point is, I found a lot of fun in Grandia, and it took me a lot of time to beat it, and I enjoyed the crap out of it. What does this have to do with Final Fantasy VII? Well, if I'm honest, at the time I purchased Grandia, I had no idea what Final Fantasy even was. By the time I found Final Fantasy, I just didn't enjoy it. Admittedly, I didn't play Final Fantasy VII until I was in college, but my good friend Nirison told me to check it out as it was one of the best video games ever. So I picked it up and just couldn't get on with it. Especially the battle system. A lot of people out there would tell me I'm stupid and wrong here, but because I grew up with Grandia, I hated the turn style of Final Fantasy VII. The fact that you get a weight meter is good, that's what was in Grandia. But whilst you're still selecting your move, trying to be all strategical, oh hey, the battle keeps going on! Who needs time to think? Seriously, what is that all about? That's what I liked so much about Grandia. The battle system was great. You level up your weapons to learn new moves, you use items called mana eggs to purchase entry level magic, combine magic to get stronger magic. You do this by leveling up, for example, your fire level, then powering up your wind levels to unlock lightning abilities. And it's just fucking great. In Final Fantasy VII you get materia, predetermined movesets, lightning bolt materia found. Hey, that's kinda cool, but I just found it. I didn't really work for it. The bottom line is, I can't like this game mainly because I liked Grandia first, and what I'm trying to do in my brain is compare every RPG to Grandia. And yes, that's not really fair, but at least I gave this game a go. I just couldn't get on with it. I just tried my best, but the bottom line is, I just don't like it. So that's why it's on my list, and that thus concludes the list. So thanks for watching. But hey, that's just my list and my reasoning. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, as I want to know what sort of game series you didn't particularly like very much and why. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of these top 10 list style things, as they're pretty fun to write. Especially let us know if you're interested in the whole debate idea me and Kron had. Thanks for watching everybody, and goodbye.